You know, I hate the sound of my own voice.
I don't think anybody likes the sound of their own voice.
No, I don't think anyone does.
That would actually make me not trust them if they're like, you know what the best sound in the world is? My own voice. I want to talk about that phase in life when the kids leave the nest and maybe it's time to downsize. So that's...
So where do we go from here? Where do we go? Where do we go? I don't know.
What do you see on our Facebook?
I mean, just I've seen your podcasts and just like basically advertisements of you.
Unfortunately, sales, you have to scream into the void.
Yes, you do.
What's up, guys? It's Barrett Freeman here with the PropertyTales podcast. I'm here with a dear friend of mine, Christina McCreary. She's a realtor out of London, Kentucky. She's with
Reliance One Realty.
I knew I wouldn't remember it. Is that a big one?
Yeah, we're pretty big. I think we have over 20 agents now.
Is that just a local company or is it nationwide?
It's a local company.
Okay. Who's your broker?
Darren Brown is our principal broker.
I love Darren.
Yeah.
I've done many deals with him. You and I have not done a deal in a while.
Well, it's been a few years, but we have
we've,
in the past.
We've always circled each other's orbits just because of real estate. But do you want to tell a little bit about your background?
Well, I'm Christina McCreary. I'm a realtor. I'm a full-time mom. I have 2 beautiful children. I'm also a notary signing agent, and I work part-time for a nonprofit teachers organization. Pretty busy.
That sounds very busy. So how old are your kids?
My daughter is 21. She's a sophomore in college, and my son is 15. He's a freshman in high school.
What's high school?
North Laurel High School.
Oh, great. So where were you born?
I was born in London, Kentucky.
Okay.
Lived there my entire life.
You went to school there?
I went to school there, graduated in 98. No, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say
Do you
that.
want me to edit that out?
Yes.
I won't. I'm kidding, I will. 98. You're acting. You kill me with these numbers. I mean, like that's so old. That's so long ago.
Women don't like numbers. We don't like numbers, but
I'm not dragging them out of you.
you're not. That's a fair point. Well made.
Also, I don't know, you are kind of sensitive on that, considering you're still very young.
Well, thanks.
Because if you're old, then that makes me old, and I don't like that feeling.
Well, you're definitely not.
When did you start feeling older?
I started
When did you start becoming scared of the numbers?
at 40. Yeah, 39 was fine, but the 4 that did it for me.
What about like the 30 transition?
I didn't have any trouble with that at all. Didn't bother me in the least.
Have you ever said the stereotypical phrase of "you just made my day" when someone thinks it? You know, how old are you? You 32, 33?
No.
I've heard guys say that, and I always cringe. Like, one of my lawyer buddies, we were like in our late 20s, and someone's like, "You look like you're probably 24." He's like, "You just made my day. I'm actually 29." I'm like, "Why do you care so much about your age? You look like a baby, and you're only 29. So, I mean, if you're worried about that now, he's going to have a serious complex when he's actually older."
Yeah, I don't think I've said that. I think I just don't believe them. I think they're just being polite.
Also, it's kind of, how often are you even having conversations about age anyway?
Not a lot.
I mean, I don't know.
No.
It's not big. It's not big. It's not very important what we do. Do you ever have any judgments when you like have a younger agent on the other side of a deal? Are you like worried about, are they going to do the job well, or any extra scrutiny?
I mean, sometimes I think when you have a new agent, it's always a little bit challenging in some ways, but I mean, I think it's important to support each other and help out. Even if they're not in my office, I still, want to help them as much as I can, make it go smoothly for both of our clients.
Well, really, the commission's earned when there's a contract.
Yeah.
But we all know it doesn't end at the signing of the contract.
No, definitely not. Relationships are so important, and it's not about the right now relationship. It's about the long-term relationships. That's what's really important.
Have you ever flipped a house?
No, I haven't.
Would you ever be interested?
Yeah, definitely.
The biggest barriers are the down payment money. Because it's a commercial deal, you have to put 15% down. And that's just a huge barrier. Even on a $100,000 deal, which is small in the commercial real estate investing game, that's still $15,000.
Yeah.
Plus closing costs. So $17,000. How many houses have you bought and sold in your life for yourself?
2.
And tell me about those.
I bought my first house with my first husband in 2005. Yeah, 2005. And we lived there about 7 years. And then
Right, you hit that perfect demographic of like first-time homeowner,
Yeah.
like 23, 24. Wow.
Yeah, right in there. And then bought our second house in 2012, and I still live there.
When did you become a realtor?
Well, my first husband died in 2015. I know you knew that. And so I decided I really needed to do something because at that point I had been a stay-at-home mom for 8 years. And I had, both my children, and I wanted to just be able to get out and meet new people and kind of start a career and just have something for myself and not stay home all the time.
I'm positive I wouldn't have met you if you weren't a realtor.
Yeah, I believe that. But I'm really glad I met you.
And you've become a very dear friend of mine.
Yes, we've been friends for several years now. And
5 or
I'm
6.
grateful. Yeah, 5
So-
or 6. Just a few.
Yeah. What year did you actually get your license?
That same year, I got my
15?
license in 2015.
Man, you jumped all over it.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine because, obviously, like grieving and studying aren't a good combination.
Yeah, it's not. And actually, I'll tell you a little story about that time. That summer, my kids and I went on vacation. We're gone for a few weeks. We just kind of took off in the car and we went to the beach. We went to Disney World and just didn't know when we were coming back. Came back after a few weeks to a house that was flooded.
Oh, no.
Had to gut the entire first floor of the house. We lived in a hotel for 4 months.
Well, let me guess what flooded. Usually it's a hot water heater.
Yeah, usually it is, but not in this case.
So it had to be the washer.
No. Believe it or
Upstairs
not.
bathroom?
No.
All right, let me keep guessing. If I
Okay,
can't get
you're
it,
never going to guess
then
this.
I don't deserve to be in real estate because water is the biggest problem in real estate.
I guarantee you're never going to get this.
Surely there wasn't a storm and a roof leak.
No, not a roof leak. No.
I can't believe you haven't told me this story because that's
I know. I can't believe I haven't told you this. Story.
okay. This will be my last guess. Was it a 2-story home?
It is. Yeah.
Okay. I've exhausted. It has to be one of those things.
No, it wasn't.
What
okay.
was it?
So while we were gone, you're right about the storm. There were torrential rains while we were gone, but the seal had broken around our doggy door that our dogs used to go in and out of the backyard. Water was pouring in around that doggy door.
Well, so that means the water was 3 or 4 feet high around your door. Is that?
No, it was coming in off the side of the roof, down the gutter, and in through the doggy door. Crazy.
That's
It was
annoying.
a crazy set of circumstances.
Not getting the weeds too much, but I'm sure the insurance company was like scratching their head too.
Yeah, they were, but they were really great.
Great.
Yeah, they were really good to me. I didn't have any trouble at all. But
Who was your insurance if you want to name drop them?
State Farm.
So we use State Farm as well,
Yeah,
and
State
we just
Farm.
had a fire. We had a fourplex burn down in February.
Really?
Yeah, we were 25% through the remodel. We had just almost finished one of the 5 units, so it was a 5-plex.
Oh, okay.
And we were about to move on, and all of a sudden we got a call from Sean Rogers, the realtor in town. He's like, "Yeah, I'm watching one of your buildings burn down." I was like, "Which one?" And he's like, "It's out here in Gray." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's one we're working on right now." It was just confusing because there was no electricity yet. We hadn't connected it to the utilities yet.
Yeah.
So they think maybe it was a mixture of chemicals or solvents or maybe
Okay.
arson or whatever. Good news is Jimmy Walker with State Farm called me today or texted us today and said that he's got his estimate done
Okay.
for repairs. So we should be getting that claim closed in a week. But anyway, we had a 5-plex burn down. We have State Farm, and they've been pretty good to work with. So
Yeah.
they didn't battle you too much.
No, not at all.
Fires are a little bit more straightforward. Water, there's a difference between if there's something in the house or something that came from outside.
Yes, there is
So,
a big difference.
as far as coverage.
Yeah. there's a
So,
big
but you didn't have
difference.
that battle because it sounds like wasn't floodwaters. It was coming basically from inside the house
Yeah.
on the house.
So when they gutted the first floor, I just went ahead and said, do the second 2, do it all at once. I never want to go through this again. So I just went ahead and did the second floor myself and did the first floor with the insurance company. And like I said, it was in total about a 6.5 month long process. But we lived in the hotel for 4 months, and I was homeschooling the kids and going to real estate school myself. So it was really busy, but we got through it.
You actually did like in-person classes?
No, I did my studies online.
I couldn't imagine how robust the online classes were in 2015. Were they pretty solid?
It was pretty solid. It was really good. I got through it really quick. It was go at your own pace. And I don't know, I guess I read fast, but about 2 weeks I was through my entire program and able to go take my test and get started.
Well, my experiences with you have shown me that you're also very smart. So
Oh,
I would
thank
not Don't set that as your expectation, folks. It's very hard to pass your real estate exam.
Yeah.
I studied it. I'm a lawyer and I'm a real estate lawyer, and it took me longer.
Okay. Well, the program is set up to take typically about 6 months.
From the start of the program to the test, how long was it?
It was only about 3 weeks. I took my test about a week after I finished my classes.
Did you pass it the first time?
Yeah.
Very impressive.
I won't tell you what I scored.
Would you barely?
Oh, no, honey. You just said I was very smart.
You are
What
smart, but
saying?
that's just an insane timeline.
Well, there were 105 questions. Maybe I will tell you what I scored.
Please do.
There were 105 questions. There usually is 100, but they were testing 5 additional questions. So those questions weren't supposed to count. But I got 100 out of 105.
That's ridiculous.
I know.
So I studied.
I'm insane.
I studied longer, and 105 questions. I think I got 78.
Oh, really?
And you need to get 75.
That's okay. You passed. A pass is a pass. It's really a pass-fail. It's not about scores, but
But it's hard not to keep those scores in the back of your head.
yeah, I kept mine in the back of my head.
I would.
I was pretty proud of that one.
Well, that's brag-worthy. Mine is not. In fact, people might judge me. I'll keep this in, but people might judge me. I did mine in 2018, and I was a full-time lawyer still. I was obviously running several property companies. And the reason I took my real estate license exam is because I own a bunch of apartments, and people were wanting us to manage theirs. And
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, if you want to manage property that's not yours, you have to have a real estate license. So I took my test after studying about 5 weeks, barely passed, 78, needed 75. But I was so grateful. I called Blake, almost crying. I was like, I passed.
It's really stressful. A lot of people find test taking very stressful.
I have 5 agents, and I think everyone except Blake. Blake's my partner, but all the other agents had to take it multiple times. And in fact, that's more common than passing it your first time by far.
Yeah. I will say, though, just for me, I mean, I don't think it's that I'm smarter than anybody else, but for some reason, taking tests is one of my superpowers. For some reason, I don't get nervous, it doesn't bother me, and I guess must be a good guesser sometimes.
Well, it is an aptitude thing. I know I've met not a lot of people. I've met a few people that just are gifted test takers. You know, that guy that some classes they'll give you the final up front just to show you kind of what you're going to learn. And I had a guy in my class that got an A on the final the first week of the course.
Wow.
Just good, and obviously very intelligent, but also and probably some luck involved too.
Yeah, definitely.
So, how much did you buy your first house for?
My first house I bought for $127,500.
This will date you of anything.
Yep.
Because of these
if
numbers.
anything. Yeah, $127,500. I think I sold it for $145,000 or something like that.
After living in it for how long?
7 years.
Yeah. So you got 7 years of use.
Yep.
Of free remodel for half of it. That had to help.
No, that was the first house I just did some basic remodels. The second house, the one I live in now, is the one that flooded.
And I've seen pictures inside. You did the hardwood and
Yes.
pretty stuff. I don't know if you posted on Facebook. But,
Oh, I'm sure it is, yeah.
So how much did you pay for the second house?
The second house I paid $230,000 for.
That was a real adult house.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that
It's
was-
a real adult house. It's the house that we bought to raise our children in, and we have, and they've loved it. We bought it to be the hangout house, so that
That's important.
Yeah.
You want the kids to come over.
yes, I want the kids to be at our house. I know what they're doing, but I don't have to be in their business.
How much do you think it's worth today? The market's dipped a little, but what do you think it was worth a few months ago?
A few months ago, probably I'd say $450,000.
I got a call from a guy that has this beautiful house in North Corbin, and he paid $250 in 2019, and he was on the fence about selling it, going through a divorce, and we ran comps, and the comps were at 400 plus.
Yeah.
And when we took those comps to him, he was just like blown away. Because if you're not in the real estate world, you don't know what's going on with the broad markets.
No, you don't. There's no
And-
way for you to know.
And last year alone, I think prices went up 15-20% over the year. And then the year before it went up similar, and the year before that went up similar. What's the real estate market feel like to you right now? We're in September of basically October of 2023. What's the market feel like to you as a realtor?
It feels slow, but I think it's because, I know it's because we have such low inventory. I can sell houses all day long, but finding somewhere for those buyers to go once they've sold their house has been the issue. There just aren't enough houses on the market, and there are way too many buyers. But also, buyers are being a lot more reserved. They're not jumping on the first one that they find. They're really taking their time and really looking for and finding what they really want.
The biggest catalyst too is people refinanced their mortgages in 2021, 2022, and they took their mortgages from 6, 8, 10% down to 2%.
Yes.
So who in their right mind would walk away from a 2% mortgage? It would take a lot. It would take a big event. It would take a divorce, a death, but that's not enough to feed the real estate market. You need people moving.
Yes, and I don't think that anybody's willing to sell their house right now. And like you said, at a low interest rate, and then buy something where interest rates we're seeing now at 7.
How much do you pay attention to like the Federal Reserve announcements every month?
Somewhat, not a whole lot. I mean, you have to look at it at least. And
well, they just announced a pause, fortunately, in interest rates. And I'm not even going to get into the weeds of that because it would take forever.
Yeah, that would be a whole other podcast.
Which, I mean, hopefully you do this more with me because it's super fun. And also, these are conversations you're having all the time anyway, and they're super useful. And it's just, I don't know how much the public's getting exposed to this.
Yeah, I definitely think that you're doing a great thing here. I think that people would do very well to pay very close attention to Barrett Freeman and the podcast that you're doing.
And pay attention to you just generally in life, real estate, maybe child raising. So what's the plan with your house that you're in now?
My daughter, as I said, is already in college. So
When I invited her on, I said, without considering your personal experience, that I want to talk about that phase in life when the kids leave the nest and maybe it's time to downsize. So that's the segue.
Yeah, I'm not quite there yet.
You're not even close. That's not why I asked you to be on.
Well,
podcast.
I mean, my youngest is 15, so it's definitely something that's crossed my mind. I've started, kind of thinking about, the plans that we're going to make and what's going to happen because I'm definitely not going to need that large family 2-story home when it's just my husband and I, So I have one in college now, sophomore, and my freshman in high school is, already we're thinking and talking about colleges for him. And so at that time, that's really the time to start thinking about downsizing.
You're in a big home for 3 people right now.
Yes.
Obviously, your daughter comes back for summers, but only for 2 more years.
Yeah, but actually, before the podcast, because obviously I knew the topic we were going to be talking about, I looked up some statistics.
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'll even put a graphic up.
Okay.
If it's appropriate, but
Okay,
I can do that. I'm pretty fancy.
I wanted to know what the average square footage per person is in the United States, on the average for homes.
I guess I'd like to guess
Okay, go ahead.
1,800 square feet.
Per person?
Oh,
On the
per
average.
person.
Yeah, per
400.
person. Okay. Well,
Nuclear family,
today, you think 400? Okay. Well, about around 1985-ish, the average was just over 500 square feet.
Okay.
Today, it's 1,050 something, I think 56, 1,056 square feet per person in a family home in the United States.
I'm shocked.
That's the average.
It's hard to believe.
Yep.
People need that much space.
Oh, I don't think we need it.
No,
That's just what we have.
That's what they want.
Americans want. That's what we've gone to. We've gone to much larger homes. And I mean, if I think about it, even many years ago, when I started looking for my first house, there were a lot of homes you could buy for $120,000, but they were, 12 to 1,500 square feet. And now there are rarely any homes that we have on the market that are that small.
It's just 1,050 square feet a person. So 3 people in a house, a 3,000 square foot house.
Yes.
We're not selling a lot of 3,000 square foot houses. Are you?
Not a lot, no, but that's the average in the U.S.
Blake and I have been buying little houses to flip them, and I bet their average is 1,400, 1,600 square feet, 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, in that range, that $120,000, $140,000. Not that those numbers didn't really apply to that, but that's what we're trying to get out of these. It doesn't, and the math works out to probably 500 square feet.
So do you think then that we're going to start to see a trend downward?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, I know we're starting to see a trend of little tiny houses. I've seen a couple of those pop up around here in this area recently. Not too many, just less than a handful, but they are popping up.
On social media, you see those efficiency houses a lot, but I don't know how popular they really are. I think that they are noteworthy because how small they are.
Yeah.
It's content for social media, but
They're really cute.
But I wouldn't live in a 250 square foot house.
No way. I mean, no way. a tiny house, it's just not an option for me. But there are a lot of people that want to do it and try it and enjoy it. So,
All right. So when someone says I want to downsize, what are things that that you would advise them to look for?
I would advise someone to look for a smaller yard, flat yard. I would
I
definitely
didn't think about flat.
Yeah, flat
Yeah,
yard.
duh. That makes sense.
Yeah, definitely flat. Definitely think that they need a ranch style home, a single story ranch style home. You want to cut down the number of stairs that are in the house. I think you need to start thinking about making sure you have wider doorways and wider hallways. Just things that, may in the future benefit you if you're looking at a home that you're going to live out the rest of your life in.
I wonder if maybe even hardwood versus carpet.
I mean, I always recommend hardwood versus carpet, but
Because you're fancy. No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
I'm not fancy.
I'm trying to think. I think you're fancy. I was just thinking of because the water hallways, maybe in case you need a wheelchair in the future.
Yes,
I
or
just don't-
walkers or things like that.
And I don't have any experience with that. I was wondering if hardwood's obviously easier for walkers and
Yeah.
wheelchairs.
Yeah.
I'd never thought about it once.
Really?
No,
That never crossed your mind?
I don't do a lot of sales. I have my own agents that deal with all this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm more of the buyer and then put a renter in it. And renters don't care about steps. I don't care about water hallways. We have to follow the Americans with Disabilities Act, but
Yes.
that only comes up very rarely. The only time it comes up is if somebody needs a ramp for a wheelchair, and we're always happy to put it in. You can put a ramp in very easy. Technically, they're supposed to pay for the ramp too, but we usually just put it in for them.
Yeah.
Because it's so rare. If it was happening once a month, we would maybe be more aggressive about making those people pay for them. But also, if we're doing our job right, we've got that built into our budget.
Yeah, definitely.
That risk of every once in a while having some ADA compliance thing we have to deal with.
Yeah, I definitely think that if you're at the point where you're thinking about downsizing because your children are leaving the nest, you definitely want one single story, and you want to start thinking about those things. You don't want to have a lot of tight corners where it's going to be difficult for you to get around. Even if you're not wheelchair bound, I mean, stability issues get to be, an issue for anyone that's getting older.
When do you think you'll start looking to downsize yourself?
Well,
I'm not calling you old. And again, I just want to talk about this. This has nothing to do with your personal life.
yeah, I definitely think in the next 5 years, I'm really going to start thinking about it hard, because that's going to be a big house for two people to keep up on their own, and we're not going to be using probably at least 60% of the house.
Do you have those thoughts now? Like, ugh, there's so much to clean.
Yeah, absolutely. There are still, even now, with the three of us in the house, or even when Bailey's home, the four of us, that there are rooms in the home that never get used.
I mean, that's a wild statement, but that's probably very common.
Yeah, nobody ever uses our bonus room. I mean, very rarely. Only when the college boyfriend comes home with Bailey for the weekend does the guest room ever get used.
I don't even want to get into that topic. How horrifying.
Well, you get there. But, even our formal dining room, it's just, there are rooms that never get used.
I don't think people are using dining rooms anymore anyway,
No.
even if you had a house full.
I've seen a lot of people transform their formal dining rooms into their offices.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Man, I'm in a bubble. I know I am, but if it's not renters and house flipping, I'm sure these are things you see a lot. That I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah. And I handle, in my real estate business, primarily I work with buyers. So these are conversations that I have a lot and often with my clients. And so you can just kind of tell, based on how old they are and things, the basic things of what they're going to be looking for.
For you guys out there that have any real estate questions, comment below on the video. We're happy to answer them. I'll make sure that she's aware that when this is posted, so she can make comments if someone has something specific for her. But you guys probably have real estate questions. So what are the most common real estate questions you get from your friends?
From my friends.
Not from the public. It's like, hey, girl.
Most commonly, people will ask me, what do you think I can get out of my property? What do you think it's worth right now?
Do they expect an answer right away?
Yeah, I mean, they want to know. They think you can do it right off the top of your head. And sometimes you can, because the market pretty well.
Sure.
Especially if it's an area that you sold in recently or
That's so nice.
Working recently, yeah.
Like, I love when we've sold a house and then someone wants to list it with us and it's almost identical. We look like we're geniuses. But we're getting the benefit of all that legwork on the other house. So, but anyway, so what other questions do they ask you?
What kind of upgrades or small changes can I make that will make my property look better or be more ready for sale? So I do work with a lot of my sellers with furniture placement because that's really important. And a lot of people,
I don't know what you mean.
furniture placement?
Yeah, I promise I don't know what you mean.
Okay. So like staging in their homes. I mean, I know you know that term.
I know staging, but do you mean like feng shui with the existing furniture, or do you
No.
mean like actually bringing in furniture?
No, just like taking their existing furniture and putting it in positions that make the room look larger and look more attractive when you walk in.
I assume that's what you meant, but I didn't want to sound stupid.
Yeah,
It's like, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I think a lot of our homes are set up for function, and furniture placement for function is not always the best furniture placement for looks.
Also, when was the last time someone came into your home and said, "I hate where that couch is"?
Never.
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 So, I think especially when I come to a home, you just think, "Oh, this is how the home is." It's not, you're not thinking, "Hey, what's the best use of space? What's going to attract a buyer?"
Exactly. And that's something that, I definitely watch for when I go into a home with a buyer, even if it's not a home that my buyer at that time is, looking to purchase, if they haven't decided to purchase that one. But I still look around at what other people have done and the things about their home that I like and take that moving forward and to work with my sellers to make sure that their homes are set up in a way that is going to be the most attractive to the most number of buyers.
How's your design?
I think I'm pretty good at it. Like for bedrooms, just as an example, when you walk in the room, the bed should be the focal point on the opposite wall. That's where your bed placement should always be, no matter what, in any bedroom, that's where the bed should go.
Are you saying the headboard on the opposite wall?
Yes, the headboard on the opposite wall, the bed should be the focal point.
You would hate my bedroom.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it is. My headboard is on the opposite wall, but it's shoved in the corner.
Oh, no.
I know. But fortunately, you're not. Well, maybe I'll let you sell my house one day. First thing you do is just like give me a list of things that I need to change.
Yeah.
I always tell people to spend money in the kitchen
Yes, you should always spend money in the kitchen
first.
I think, and then secondarily in bathrooms.
I agree. I've never had that in-depth conversation with you on that topic, but it's just obvious. The first thing people talk about, the buyers, is the kitchen.
Yes, kitchen. First thing, in my experience, they look at countertops and then cabinetry.
We always try to shove a bathroom in the master if we can.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely. If at all possible, the owner's bedroom that we call it now, the owner's bedroom should have
Oh, is it just
an
kind of
ensuite bathroom.
just change in language?
Yes, that change in language has been pretty recent, but
I've heard that. I just forgot.
yeah.
I think Tanya Freeman. Have you met Tanya?
Yes, I
So
know
she's the
Tanya.
one that stays up to date on all those little changes that are important, but I don't think about day to day. And there's a lot of money pouring into Kentucky right now from outside of the state.
Yes, we've had an outpouring of buyers from other states.
Inpouring,
Inpouring. What's the word?
influx.
Influx. There you go.
They're probably all
word.
correct. I just thought outpouring sounded funny when we're talking about coming in.
It does.
Outpouring means a lot,
does.
though.
We have had an influx of buyers coming in from other states.
I just sold a duplex to a California couple.
Yep, a lot. I've had a lot of buyers from California, a lot from Michigan, just areas that are a little more dense in population. They're looking for a little more space,
And
And-
they love our prices.
cheaper property, and cheaper property taxes.
Corbin's property tax is ridiculous. I don't know if our school system, which is beautiful and wonderful, but it's like $700 a year just for the school tax, and then that's
Wow.
not including all the other taxes. So, and then you times that by a lot of properties.
Yeah, that's, I guess, one of the downsides of owning as much property as you do.
I'll tell you off camera what my tax bill is. It's terrible.
I'm sure it'll shock me.
Well, I mean, it also means we're making a lot of rent. We're getting a lot of rent in.
Yeah, of
if we're doing our
course.
job right.
Yes.
So, well, that's really all I had for you today. I really hope that you'll join me again very, very soon because people generally like podcasts.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Great. So this has been Barrett Freeman with the Property Tales podcast. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. You did so well.